And now we're joined by Elliot Wilson. He's a writer. He's a senior fellow also for for national security at the Coalition for Global Prosperity, a think tank. Very, very good afternoon to you, Elliot.
Good afternoon, Julia.
Wanted to talk to you really about where we are, international affairs, but also at home here, front page of the Mail today. Asbestos has killed 9 times more military veterans in this country than there were British victims in the military of the Taliban during the entire Afghan campaign. It's causing exposure to deadly material in poor military accommodation, ships, subs, helicopters, and even in tanks. Is causing an average of 89 cases of mesothelioma. I can't pronounce it. In fact, the cancer caused by asbestos. This is extraordinary, especially when we're constantly told that, you know, they're upgrading the accommodation. But for years and years and years, our military servicemen and women have been in accommodation that is literally killing them.
It is. I mean, sadly, it's very worrying, but it's not all that surprising. I mean, the problem with asbestos was that for a long time we thought it was this sort of wonder material that was fire retardant. You know, it basically was a safety feature, despite the fact that we've known for now 101 years that it does kill people.
And they did put it everywhere. I mean, it's in tower blocks, it's in schools, absolutely. It's in hospitals, it's everywhere.
And as you say, in tanks and submarines, you know, the army are given gloves made of asbestos to change machine gun barrels. So it is everywhere. And it's very difficult to remove because once you start tearing it apart, it turns into fibres and you worsen the problem. So it's an enormous problem. But then the whole defence housing estate has been a running sore for 20 or 30 years now. And there have been appalling problems of substandard housing and really not enough being done. And it partly goes back to when the Ministry of Defence sold off most of the housing stock in 1995 to private contractor. That didn't go well. But it's also, I think, you were talking about the emergency services earlier. I think the armed forces, they make do because it's what they do. They are service people. They're there to defend the country and do their job. And if they are being poorly housed, no one likes it. They don't deserve it. But they will. Well,
they can't go on strike about it. Nothing going to happen. Exactly. And again, you know, they kind of get on with it. People. Again, I do find it extraordinary that we've often had the idea of, you know, putting asylum seekers into some of the former military camps. Where they were told no, they're not good enough standard. Even the barge, they were going to be the BBC Stockholm, not good enough for asylum seekers. They gave up on that. A bad publicity, didn't like. But now they're about to put British servicemen and women into a barge almost identical to the BBC Stockholm because it is good enough for them, which is extraordinary. Now, let's talk about more international affairs just briefly, though, because we've had this sort of war of words between Vladimir Putin and Donald Trump. And as much as I'm pleased that Vladimir Putin is no longer basically suckering in Donald Trump on issues like Ukraine, big concern that tensions could mount between these two big powers and the moving of US subs and the like, and threats and counter threats. How worried are you about what is going on between those two countries?
It is concerning. I mean, the tweet or rather the post on Truth Social that Donald Trump put out was slightly confusing because he said he was moving submarines to where they're. I mean, he doesn't need to move submarines. There will be US submarines all the time, which could hit. With nuclear weapons. That's not an issue. So I think it's Donald Trump talking at Putin. It's good that he is no longer, as you say, effectively rolling over and asking Putin what he wants him to do. But typically for Trump, he goes in very aggressively and very bourishly without thinking about the consequences.
But isn't it this week, though? I think it's not Thursday. No, I know that's when more tariffs come in, but I think it's over the next week that we're going to hit that deadline, which the new shorter deadline for Donald Trump to say, well, look, Putin has to come to the table over a ceasefire in Ukraine.
Yes, 50 days, which became 12 days, which became 10 days, which I suppose is reducing inflation in a way. But the problem is that Donald Trump doesn't really have a clear outcome in mind, except that he would like it all to stop and it to be to his credit. And it's not going to stop because there's no incentive for Putin to stop the war. He's not losing yet, although, you know, Russia...
Winning.
No, he's not winning at all. But he can keep this going because he's got, you know, hundreds of millions of Russians to feed into Ukraine if necessary. And he still thinks he can achieve some kind of settlement. And he's also, I suspect, worried about what happens if he doesn't.
Yeah, absolutely. But there's also a report today, so we're talking about, World War III, whether it's, Russia and America, or it's China invades Taiwan and the West to go to war as well, saying that the government has actually urged Brits to stock up on basic supplies. Shock poll has revealed that 86% of us don't have enough to last us even one day in a crisis. Should we be stockpiling our tinned goods and our batteries and our torches?
This all feels a bit sort of protect and survive 1960s, doesn't it? I mean, I think
get under your kitchen table and survive the nuclear bomb.
Yes, if one of your relatives dies, wrap them in tinfoil and put them outside. I think if we do come to a nuclear conflict, not having enough tinned food to get through the week is not going to be the issue.
I think you may have nailed it. Elliot Wilson, he's from the National Security at the Senior Fellow for National Security at the Coalition for Global Prosperity. It's a foreign policy think tank. Sam Armstrong, are you all geared up for World War III?
Well, it's hard to work out. Are we going to face a World War III first, or are we going to face a genuine civil war in this country? I mean, there are now serious people, King's College professors I've seen this week, saying that we are literally staring on the precipice of massive national breakdown if people begin to lose faith in the police. I cannot remember, and I think I say this every year, I cannot remember a time in which our world has seemed more dangerous than it does today.
I think the world is very dangerous, but our country, I think it's more despondency at the moment, but I think it's not a bad thing if people start being angry rather than despondent. Staying within the law, with always say that, but